What did Owen say the other day? Sharp as a Jim Dandy.
Ooh, that's sharp too. That's a Jim Dandy there.
I think he said this one's a Jim Dandy.
Oh, he's like, oh, that's really sharp. It's a Jim Dandy. Alright guys, well, welcome back to another episode of Midwest Whitetail. As you just saw, we are out for our first hunt, and we're going to be going to that redneck hay bale blind that we set up for this big 9-pointer with a kicker that makes him a 10. And we've also got this drop tine deer in the area. And despite the super high temperatures, I think we're sitting at 92 getting out of the truck, we're going to go all in. We've got the perfect wind, we've got water nearby, we've got clover in front of us, and we've also got some falling apples. So I think we're really tight on these deer. We've got perfect access, and more importantly, we can get out clean, and we're gonna hunt them while we got the right winds. So on this week's show though, we're gonna join Kaleb. He's gonna give us an update on Ohio and how he's gonna be tackling this first week of weather. Owen's gonna give us an update, and then we're finally gonna go join Mike Reed, who's gonna give us an update on how he's gonna be hunting this weather. But more importantly, we're gonna join him and his daughter Brynn for an amazing hunt, their first buck ever, and season's rolling on. So appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this week's show, and best of luck if you're going to be out this week. Can't wait to see how the action unfolds. Be sure to stay tuned to those regional shows, those daily blogs, and let's jump to the show now.
All right, Seamus and I just made it to Ohio. What was the drive? Probably 8 hours.
Yeah, probably 8 hours.
Probably 8 hours from home. And I wanted to get here so we can scout first thing tomorrow morning. So hopefully we can see some deer coming back into the woods tomorrow morning. Maybe we can get on a deer.
Three rubs right here. 3 good rubs. We've got corn to the east of us. They're probably transitioning from bedding, which is probably where those deer ran. It's probably where the bucks are, the safest, most secluded spot. And they're probably working out, eating down acorns. That's their transition into the destination hag, which is the corn. Let's roll. Day 1, we were in Ohio. We're in a special unit in Ohio where we're allowed to hunt earlier than the regular archery season due to the CWD zone that we're in. I'm pumped to be in a tree, especially it's my first time in a tree before October 1st, so leaves are falling, acorns are dropping everywhere. I'm grinning ear to ear. But we had a cold shower coming in here. It might rain a little bit later on. It sounds like a good recipe for a big old mature buck. Come in here and freshen up these scrapes. I mean, we got a dozen and a half scrapes. Ohio, here we go. Deer right here. Probably like a 2-year-old. I don't think he's that big. Well, that's gonna wrap up the first sit of the year. Overall, really good sit. The deer were doing pretty much what we kind of expected them to do coming out of the corn. I think we just had 2 1-year-olds and a 2-year-old come in, give us a little show. Till tomorrow. We got rain tomorrow, so. This feels right. a stand earlier today about, what is that, probably 100 yards. For some reason, they're really using this creek bed that wraps up around us. But last night we got a mature buck feeding with that little 8-point that came in here. But man, I think this set is bulletproof. This is exactly where I learned to set yesterday. I think we'll get an opportunity tonight. Ohio is not disappointing. I mean, what do you know it? Shay says big buck. It looked like a 4-year-old. I want to say it's a little dark in here. I couldn't judge him that great. Probably leave this set here. We're going home to Iowa. I was talking to Lee. I don't think he's going to come up here to hunt Chuck Norris just because the weather looks pretty warm for the opener next week. But I will be back soon, hopefully really soon. What do you think, Seamus? How's it look? Doing that one next. Just wait for me to give you the green light. Man, these oaks came out great. All right, guys, we are on Lee's farm today. We're doing some last finishing touches for Chuck Norris. We just rolled the Redneck in here on a trailer blind, and man, it looks awesome. The setup just, it's gonna be bulletproof here in another week. So I looked at the weather today, this morning, and it looks like there's a cold front coming through on Thursday. And one of the deer that I think is in trouble for this weekend is Chuck Norris. Since we last updated you guys on this plot, you know, we came in here, drilled oats. The oats came up, they look beautiful. And you know who was using it right away? Chuck Norris. I think with these cold temps, a high of 60, coming in from 90s for a high, dropping down to 60s, I think that's a bulletproof recipe for a big buck dying. But for myself, you know, we were coming back from Ohio yesterday, and we got a really good buck on camera, a buck that I got a lot of history. I call him OG, and he's over on that Lucky farm. It's not a deer that I'm hoping to target early because I'm really all in on this Lucky deer. It's how I hunt. It's one deer and one deer only for my regular bow tag. But you know, I got an early muzzleloader tag, and if that deer steps out, there's not a chance that he's walking out of that field on the first day early muzzy. We just got back from Ohio, new property. First time stepping foot on the property, we scouted it and had really good luck, really good sign in there, rubs, scrapes all over. You know, I was kind of thinking about early season. A lot of guys struggle to seem to get deer in the bow range in early season, at least bucks. They're still in standing corn, they're still in standing bean fields. These mature bucks are normally off by themselves, and I've had a lot of really good luck in Iowa, in my location, finding these mature bucks in odd places. And these odd places normally consist of waterways out in fields. Whether that field is picked, cut, or whether that field's standing. I can recall a couple encounters in waterways just off the top of my head. You know, Casey's deer, heavy 10, he stepped out of a thick, grassy waterway in the middle of a thick bean field. But I think my most important and best tip for early season is don't get all the way back in the mix right away. Start on the outside looking in. You know, in Ohio, we found all that really good sign in the timber, not as much sign where we sat that first day, but the reason we sat there is because we're doing an observational sit. We have no idea what these deer are doing in this timber, especially, I mean, you gotta be running 12 cameras in a tight area to know exactly what these deer are doing. That first day we set up with the wind in our favor, observed, saw all the movement in the timber, and then the next day we were mobile, and that was why we got an opportunity, and we had success. I counted that hunt as a successful hunt because those deer did exactly what we were thinking, and we played it safe, but still being aggressive. So I'm probably gonna stay consistent on this lucky deer as of right now. The last time I saw him was September 7th. So he's kind of fluctuating on the farm. These deer that I hunt travel miles and miles. I mean, some of these deer's ranges go up to 8 miles. So it'll be interesting hunting out there. At least there's a couple other good deer on the farm for me to hunt. I'm eager for it. Fall can't get here soon enough. So hopefully these tips helped you guys. Good luck this year and stay safe.
No pressure. Well, by the time you guys watch this, the season will be open. I'm trying to keep this practice as realistic as possible. I don't think we talk about that enough. Is, you know, the pressure practice, I think, is super important. So right now I'm taking one shot, and that's the shot that counts. I might come back in an hour or 2 hours and take one shot again and make that shot count. We got the course set up here. I can shoot off the deck as well, so we can shoot from elevated stand. But to talk a little bit about my normal strategy for this time of year, normally I'm gonna hunt a green source, you know, especially with this warmer weather coming in. They're talking 90-degree highs for the opener, and the day after it's all high 80s, so that's not too exciting. But you know, normally I'm gonna hunt a green source. If you've got a water source around bedding, I mean, that'd be another great option as well. I don't think I have that set up where this Lochness buck is. You know, that's one of the more difficult things, I guess, if you're hunting one buck, is you're limited to the area he's living in. But keep in mind too, if you're gonna hunt a green source this time of year, you know, with these temperatures, most of the deer are gonna stick to the shaded areas. So, you know, have that in your arsenal or a plan of attack is, you know, they're gonna stick to the shaded areas, so that's where you're gonna wanna focus. With these temps we've got rolling in, I might take one shot at that Lochness monster buck. You know, I'm not too excited. I don't know if he'll move much in daylight. But with a deer of that size, I mean, you gotta give yourself a chance. So we're gonna probably take one shot at him. I don't know if it's gonna be opening evening. We'll see what exactly the wind direction is. I don't think we're gonna have the wind speed, looking at the forecast right now, to hunt that last stand you saw me set up there on the last main show. I would really like to hunt that spot. He's been in there a little bit more, you know, since we filmed that last episode, but not real consistent. So, you know, I don't know. Also, he's been up there by the big oak where I called my shot earlier this spring. Well, we're gonna call it right now. I'm gonna call this tree right over my shoulders where we're gonna get a crack at this buck. I really believe that's gonna be the tree right there, so we'll go ahead and call our shot. He's been a little more consistent right there, walking through there about 15 to 30 minutes left of shooting light. But of course, that was with cooler temperatures, so I don't know what he'll do now. But for this time of year, you know, you've got the element of surprise versus the low odds of the weather. You know, if it wasn't this particular deer I was after, I think I'd probably just set it out and wait for midweek. You know, my success rates have really skyrocketed once I started hunting the fringes and really picking my spots, you know, taking my shot when the conditions were right. So I hate to go in there and bump him walking out or something like that. You don't know what that'll do to change his habits up. But, you know, we're gonna take our one shot at him. So if I connect on him, you guys will be the first to know. Now let's pass it off to the guy that can articulate his thoughts 10 times better than I can, Mr. Mike Reed, and let's listen in on what his early season strategy is gonna be. Thank you.
Well, it is October 1st and bow season officially opens today here in Iowa. I unfortunately have been at work on call for the hospital. I've been in and out of the ER most of the day and not going to be getting in the stand. As you already heard through the other guys talking about it, it's pretty hot. It's in the 90s these few days. We're going to have a cold front later in the week. As far as plans for me for this early part of the season, I'm still going to be focusing on DK. He's kind of been tiptoeing around the edge of the property, working, you know, the fringe of daylight a few times. So I'm hoping with that front later in the week, he'll
maybe make an appearance on one of those food plots where we can get a shot at them. So right now, that's my plan. I don't think I'm gonna do a whole lot of hunting up until then. We were talking about trying to get out and get some does, but you know, with the temperature and some work constraints, I think it's gonna be later in the week for our first sit. This time of year, I try to focus in on those early season food sources. You know, the acorn crop is just remarkable this year, and then our green food plots. So I've got some lush clover plots, I've got some brassica plots that the deer are really keen in on. Try to find spots close to water. Those are strategies that I use. I've been successful in the past, so hopefully we can get behind DK. Next, we're gonna be bringing you guys my daughter Brynn's hunt from last weekend. Super exciting to have another one of my kids interested in hunting. She's 8 years old. This year expressed a lot of interest in trying to get a buck and big enough to shoot the gun. We practiced a bunch and it's pretty exciting, lots of learning. All in all, a great experience for our family. Is super excited to have success and a great way to end youth season. Really hope you guys enjoy the hunt. So we're gonna go to that little turnip plot where Bella killed Big Mac and see if Sven or Sebastian come out. That sound good to you?
Yeah.
You've been practicing?
Yes, I've been practicing for 3 days.
Well, it is September 23rd, and we are back out at the home farm. We're in the same blind that Bella shot Big Mac out of last Monday, and it's Saturday today. And Brynn's up to bat. Brynn is 8 years old. She's in the 3rd grade, and she shot her first deer 2 years ago, late season with the crossbow. She shot a big doe. And last year, we talked a lot about coming out, but never made it out. Every time it came time to practice, she had something else to do, and so I have a rule that we got to practice if we're going to go hunting, and so last year we never made it out, but this year she's been very interested in going, and we've been practicing a bunch. She shot the 22 and the 17 quite a bit, and then she shot 4 shots out of the 350 today, 2 at 50 yards and 2 at 100 yards, and hit the bullseye. So shooting good. We shoot the lighter caliber guns just to get used to target acquisition, getting a good sight picture with no black in the scope, keeping your eye on the target, all those types of things without worrying about the recoil or the noise. And she's been having a lot of fun shooting, and we're excited to be out here. It's a little warm, it's 82 degrees, and we have a southeast wind, so this really is our only spot to come sit. This spot sets up really nice for early season, as we talked about in Bella's hunt. We've got the brassica plot here, bunch of turnips and radishes, super lush. Down along the creek, there's water. It's nice and cool, and it's tucked up into the bedding area. So a lot of times it's the first area the deer come, and then they work their way out to the north to the bigger ag fields as the evening progresses. So we want to hunt that bottom bean plot where Droopy came out last weekend, but wind's not good for that. So we decided to come back here, and Droopy could show up here. We also have a mature 8-pointer. We've got Sebastian that could show up here, and then the buck that I was trying to get Brynn to shoot 2 years ago.
Is Sven?
Sven, that's right. This year he's just a beautiful, beautiful 5-6-year-old 10 that we're calling Sven. And so he's been running around the farm.
Finn, not Sven.
I can't say that animal's name. What's Sven's name in Frozen?
Sven.
Sven. You gotta say the S a little bit.
Sven.
It's Finnish.
Finish.
So we got snacks and drinks. Brynn's ready to go. Bella's here to cheer Brynn on and help her with any questions she might have. We're gonna sit back, enjoy the hunt. We have 2.5 hours to go, and hopefully Brynn can get her first buck. Hey, Brynn. I think we should wait a little while. Is that okay?
Please, he's in a good angle. There's another deer.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, they're all pouring out now. The whole little family. Grab a claw. Let's see.
Slowly, Brynn.
Slowly. Do you like him?
The guy
The big one, yeah, you see the big rack.
Yeah, it's big. Oh my gosh.
It's fine. Don't do it. Yeah, he's licking. That's right. You see how he's facing us a little too much? When he turns sideways, he'll go up the back of the leg and shoot him right in the middle of the body. You're doing great. Yeah.
No, wait, he's turning. He's not facing.
Okay, just we're gonna keep waiting. Take some patience. Stay ready. Stay ready. Okay. You ready? You ready? Right on the shoulder.
Did I get him?
I think so. Look at him.
Where is he?
He's running right there. Let's see what he does. Can't see him anymore. I see him. I see him. I think he just went down right there. He might have gone over the hill. I'm not quite sure.
I saw where the shoulder was. So,
Like the armpit?
yeah.
Like he went up?
It was. So then I like shot like next to it.
Yeah. You followed up his leg. And then went mid-body. Good. He mule kicked. He kicked really hard back behind him. You had to be so patient. You had to like wait. He was facing us. You had to sit there, and it took a lot of patience, huh? So we just looked at the footage, and the shot looks back as far as I can tell on the LCD screen on the camera. I did see him stop up on the hill there. He ran up there with his tail tucked. I thought I saw him go down, but then I saw his rack again, so I think he was just standing there in the brush. And then I think he made it over the hill, which that's the center of the property. It's supposed to get cool tonight, and obviously there's no point in going and pushing him and jumping him and all that good stuff. So a little bit of dampener on our excitement, but you know, it happens to the best of us. So we're gonna get back to the house and check the shot and make a decision.
I shot him in the belly, so I don't think that's good.
Yeah, it's not what we tried to do, but we're gonna go look at it and see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He'll be okay.
Yeah, that's just him walking through the bushes. So where were you gonna shoot him? Right here?
Up the leg, it'd be like right there.
Yeah.
But I think I like shot a little bit higher. And then
Yeah, and that's okay. I would say
Yeah.
right above that dark spot's where you should hold.
Yeah, and then when it was coming, it kicked his leg up because it could hear. Because I could like hear the sound.
See, before you shoot, he actually moves this leg forward, which is good. It opens him up a little more. You ready? The actual shot is that dimple right there. So if you go right here, you can see the bullet flying,
Yeah.
and the bullet impacts right there. So that the last rib is like right here. So it's back of right lung liver. But what I wanted to show you was when his leg was back, like that. So the cursor's still where you hit. So when you followed up the leg there, and you were aiming mid-body.
Yeah, I was like aiming.
Okay.
Right up there, kind of.
So watch. We're gonna have the cursor there. I'm gonna make the video go. Watch. So as you're holding right there, he steps forward, and when you shoot, boom, bullet. You see where you hit right where you were aiming.
Oh my gosh! It's just because it looks like I didn't, but actually he just moved his leg up.
He moved his leg up. So next time, whenever they take a step like that, you adjust. You look back at where the leg is, and you'll go up and you kind of recenter your crosshairs. Because deer are always moving, but when I look at that way, you did right what you were when we took it off of safety and said shoot.
Yeah, I was
when his leg was
right
back.
Up there,
Yeah, you followed up the leg there.
Yeah, and I kind of went a little higher than that black dot, but I actually
Well, we just got back out to the farm. It's about 9:15, so it's been 3 hours since the hit, and we're able to get home and take a look at the computer and watch the hit back a few times. She actually hit right where she was aiming. The deer moves his leg forward, and she just didn't adjust with the leg moving forward. And the impact is right there. So it's back of right lung and liver. And it's certainly gonna be a dead deer. Hopefully we can recover him tonight. We're gonna go take a peek. We had a little bit of rain come through, just one little cell. It rained for probably 30 minutes, kind of light rain. The grass is wet. We're not gonna tear up the whole place tonight, but go look right there, see if we see any blood, then maybe just take a little look around. Hopefully he's laying right there. He ran right up the hill here. This is around where he stopped. You see the blood? Oh my gosh. This is where he stood. You see all the blood right there? See the blood right here? It's a lot of blood. This is where he went left. Right here.
Oh my God, my ears stopped. I got it. I found. Oh my gosh.
He didn't go anywhere. You got him.
I think it's gonna be hard to carry him out.
What do you think, little lady?
Wow, that's a huge deer.
That's a huge deer, Rye. Well, I'm glad we decided to come back.
Me too.
Pretty cool. Well, here he is. This is the crab claw buck on the home farm. Got some history with this deer. We filmed him last year a couple times. Had him at 3.5 last year. Made a nice jump this year. Great looking buck. In velvet, he actually had a little hook at the end of his beam turned down. I don't know if he damaged it or what, but it fell off when he rubbed his velvet off. And we actually had an encounter with this deer with Bella the night she saw Droopy out on the bottom bean field. Yep, that was last Sunday, the night before she killed Big Mac. And we weren't sure which buck was going to show up in this brassica plot tonight, but certainly the odds were in our favor that one of the good ones would show up. And it was fun to have Brynn in the blind. She didn't hunt last year, and this year she was anxious to go. We had big sister Bella in the blind to help coach her along. In fact, the second this buck showed himself, Bella's like, "Get ready, Brynn, that's a shooter." And it's pretty fun to witness all that. And of course the shot, we were a little concerned in the blind, went back home and got to look at it. Definitely was a little bit back. Like I mentioned on the recovery, I mean, he didn't go 10 yards past where we had last seen him. I just wanted to err on the side of caution. We had a little bit of rain in the forecast. I didn't want to bump him. He was stiff as a board when we walked up to him, so I don't think he lived very long. And just a really cool buck. Another great buck out here on the home farm. What do you think, Brynn?
Yeah, I think this is a big buck, and we have had a good night today.
That's right. Well, we can't understate the power of a solid green food source this time of year. You know, that monster buck brassica plot topped with extra dose of radishes. This bottom plot, it's hidden away next to the bedding area. It's cool, you got the water in the creek there. All the beans are turning yellow and defoliating, and man, that is a hot spot. So 2 sits down there and 2 mature bucks. Super excited for the success we've had so far. As always, we appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you back next week.